Alright, you guys didn't explicitly ask for it, but by God, you sure as hell showed it with your views. Our last tier video was one of the most successful videos we've ever done on this channel, so now it's time to crank out another one. Hello everyone, it's me, Quarrelsome Dude, back once again to deliver unto you some motorcycle content. Today we're going to do the unthinkable. We're going to be ranking the world's best motorcycle engine sounds. Now, I know what you're thinking, Yammie, that is completely suggestive. How can you possibly rank something that isn't quantifiable? Yeah, okay, next time you hear an R1 with the full exhaust and a wretched 50cc moped, come back and tell me once again that this is all suggestive or up to interpretation. Before we begin, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button so we can keep our streak of over 1,000 new subscribers per day. Seriously, it's been a few days now and we keep adding new boys and girls into the Yammie kingdom, which is pretty sweet. Also, be sure to hit that Patreon link to learn how you can win the free motorcycle we're giving away. Now, without further ado, because I've seen comments saying that our intros are too damn long, let's do this. To recap, today's ranking is going to be following this from worst to best: F, E, D, C, B, A, and S tier engine sounds. We're going to be covering any and all engines that I can find or think about, but if I miss any, be sure to include them down below. Alright, let's start off by looking at our F tier motorcycle engines. F tier. F-tier engines are absolute potatoes of the motorcycling world. They're slow, annoying, buzzy, and otherwise just bad. They might also be found in a wretched bike or two. I'd say that if you do end up hearing one of these bikes, you should consider yourself a victim of circumstance, much like listening to Imagine Dragons. 50cc two-stroke mopeds, to the surprise of no one, is one of the most wretched motorcycle sounds I can possibly think of. I've been to Europe a few times already this year, and I gotta tell you, in a beautiful, time-weathered neighborhood with lovely little shops and friendly faces, it's quickly ruined by some chav on a 50cc wretched moped screaming down the motorway and going about 13 miles per hour because that's about as fast as it's gonna go. 50cc mopeds can suck it. Single cylinder 125cc engines with full exhaust. Now, I know I recently made a best A1 bikes list for my wonderful Eurobro squids, but I can't in good conscience place the 125cc single cylinders any higher than this. Similar to the 50cc moped, bro, these guys slap on the loudest possible exhaust on their mini replica GP YZF 125R and go ham on the streets. Please, my dudes, I want to live a long life in which I listen to A and S tier motorcycles, so leave the straight-piped 125cc bikes at home. E tier. E-tier motorcycle sounds improve upon our F-tier by being slightly more tolerable. They're just as common, however, will get the attention of no one, and will likely cause you to shake your head in disappointment as one goes by. Let's look. Normie tier small displacement parallel twins. What do I mean by this? Your garden variety R3s, Ninja 300s, or 400s, and those sorts of machines. You'll likely come across one with the full system, and when they ring it out past 10,000 RPMs, you're gonna wish that you took a different road home. Small displacement parallel twins are just about impossible to make sound good, and beginner riders who buy one of these bikes because they look like a real deal bigger bike will be sorely disappointed when they discover that slapping on a full Acura on these bikes do no good. If you are the proud owner of a parallel twin, fear not, because you will be redeemed later in this video. Single cylinder bikes in general. Yep, I'm gonna say it because no one else will. Single cylinder bikes just sound bad. They just do. I own a KTM RC390 right now as part of our giveaway series, and my god, it's just a clattery, vibey little thing. I've ridden several dirt bikes too, and I've been around supermoto boys while they're ripping mega fat dank woolies, but I'll be damned if you tell me that these bikes actually sound good, because they don't. It doesn't really get much better when you increase the displacement either. The BMW Boxer Twin is another one of those engines I really wish I could place higher, but wow, this thing just sounds bad. A low revving, farty little thing that doesn't really do a whole lot for me. They are the diesels of the motorcycle world. They've got mountains of torque, but no lively rivers of RPMs. Honda's Goldwing is also an E-tier motorcycle sound. Yes, I know it's a Boxer 6 in a motorcycle. Wow, multiple cylinders. Incredible. However, it's so low revving that it looks like it's trying to win the world's lowest RPM limbo challenge. It's a big, hulking mass of an engine designed to haul things. Legend has it you can even tow another motorcycle with one. But the sound is just absolutely awful, and I won't apologize for that. D-tier. Now we're getting somewhere. D-tier motorcycle engine sounds are definitely something you can be proud to own. They'll incite excitement, curiosity, and even praise from passerbys. D-tier engine sounds are nothing to scoff at, but they're still trailing way behind the engine sounds that define motorcycling and cause us to daydream. Let's see. The BMW inline 6 engine found in the K1200 and the K1600 is a D-tier motorcycle engine sound. It gets high marks for being a 6-cylinder bike, but unfortunately, it only revs to a measly 7,700 RPM, which places it firmly in the car engine territory. And that's not what we're about with motorcycles. The BMW i6 is really just a BMW car engine designed to pull the wool over your eyes. Now, that's not a bad thing. The 1600cc inline 6 is a staunch competitor in their market, but this list is all about motorcycle engine sounds that ignite the soul and girdle the loins, which it does none of. Larger displacement parallel twins are D-tier engine sounds. Although they're common, they're reliable, and they're used in so many different bikes, it's generally hard to keep track of nowadays. From Triumph Bonnevilles, Thruxtons, and to the more Africa twins in Honda's top-tier adventure bike, a large displacement parallel twin with a standard crankshaft is going to be a D-tier engine sound. I'm placing it in the D-tier because if you venture outside of America, every hipster with a handlebar mustache is rocking something with a parallel twin engine, which isn't to say it's a bad thing, but it's incredibly common. C-tier. C-tier motorcycle engine sounds are perfectly middle of the road. I like to think of them as classic motorcycle sounds. If you were to ask a stranger on the street to produce a motorcycle sound using nothing with their mouth, you'd probably get something that sounds like this. Let's look. This is going to be controversial, but nearly every single new 1000cc liter bike with an inline 4 configuration, excluding a special one we'll discuss later, is a C-tier engine sound. This includes the likes of Kawasaki's ZX-10R, BMW's S1000RR, Honda's CBR-1000RR, and etc. Hell, I'm going to lump in the smaller displacement ones too, like the ZX6 and the R6 as well. This is your classic sport bike sound, and they're all virtually the same. This isn't to say they sound bad. In fact, they often sound quite good. But the problem is we're so used to them, and when you've heard something 1,000 times before, it can lose its luster. Inline 4-cylinder sounds are C-tier. American V-twin engine sounds suffer the same fate. The American V-twin can be found in literally millions of Harleys, Indian, and Victory motorcycles around the world and mostly in the United States. It's the standard potato, potato, potato gurgly sound that they make, typically fitted with a full header back system with hardly any kinks in it. This sound is distinct because you know the exact dude I'm talking about that sits at the red light just revving it over and over again. It's the same guy that rips a fat rev getting out of the parking lot. It's the other spectrum, but it's absolutely standard motorcycle sounds, which again, nothing wrong with that, but it's extremely common. B-tier. B-tier motorcycle sounds are those that stand a cut above the others. They're distinct, attainable, and unique enough to elicit some conversation from fellow riders and even normies. Ducati's V-twin or L-twin engines are B-tier sounds. Again, I know this is going to upset those sweet little biscotti boys, but hear me out. With the Ducati V-twin, especially in higher states of tune, like in the Panigale and hell, even in the form of the 821 Monster, you're getting all the burbles, pops, and crackles you've come to expect from a Euro bike. However, given that Ducati has recently revised their flagship engine to a more exotic sound, we have to place them in the B tier. They're certainly more distinct than the inline 4s, the American V-twins, but a V-twin is a V-twin, no matter if it's in an SV650 or a Monster 821. Ducati scores high marks for producing some gems in the form of the old school carbureted V-twins. I'm especially fond of the Ducati 718, but with the absolute majesty and supreme quality of our A and S tier motorcycle sounds, we can't clog it up with the measly latest gen V-twins. Yamaha's cross-plane parallel twin is also a B tier motorcycle sound. This is found in the FZ07, which if you've been watching for a little while, you've seen it featured in our recently given away Yamaha FZ07. This gem of an engine features a 270-degree crank and allows it to fire in a different configuration than in other parallel twin engines, giving it a throaty and mean sound. I absolutely fell in love with the sound of this engine when I owned one, and it's hard to deny how mean it sounds. An honorable mention is also found in the Husqvarna Nuda and the Africa Twin. Parallel twins, when done right, sound really mean and are very, very nice. Here's another controversial take, but I think Yamaha's 3-cylinder is also a B-tier engine sound. Despite being an absolute triple-cylinder fanboy, I think Yamaha's 3-cyl is just a little too drony and low revving to be qualified under A or S tier. It is a torquey beast of a mill though, and will provide smiles for days and years to come, but the sound leaves a lot to be desired, and before you berate me, I also owned one of these with the full Leo Vinci system, and I still didn't think it was excellent exhaust sound tier, A tier. Now we're near the summit, near the hallowed ground of exhaust sound Valhalla. A tier motorcycle sounds are those that are guaranteed to snap a few necks from riders and normal folks alike. Let's see what they're all about. Yamaha's cross-plane inline 4-cylinder engine is an A-tier sound. At the low end, it sounds like an exotic supercar, and at the high end of over 13,000 RPM, it sounds like pure MotoGP race bike stuff. The cross-plane R1 is not only attainable, reasonably priced for under $15,000, brand spanking new, it also sounds absolutely amazing with the full system. The only reason the cross-plane R1 engine is an A tier instead of an S tier is because, well, it's just a little bit common. R1s are seen at nearly every and all bike nights. You probably know a dude who owns one, and that's just gonna limit its capability to enter the promised land of S tier. If you don't believe me, just watch a few videos of the exhaust on the R1 and you'll understand why it's an A tier sound. The CBR 250RR found in the Honda is also an A tier motorcycle sound. The 90s was known for a lot of things, but in my opinion, the best thing to come from the decade was the small displacement screaming inline 4-cylinder bikes. And before you come at me, yes, I realize that I said that all inline 4 sounded the same, but the crossplane is different, and this one revs to 20,000, and they're old school, and they sold them in crazy neon paint schemes, and I have a soft spot for them. Don't at me. The CBR 250RR literally could rev until 20,000 RPM, giving it a Formula 1-like sound and making the little rocket ship that could. True A-tier stuff. It's rare, it's cool, and any rider worth their salt would look at one of these bad boys and give you a little head nod. Triumph's 675cc triple is an A-tier sound. Now yes, I'm a bit biased. I've owned 3 of these bikes, but come on guys, I could have put it in the S tier, but I didn't. Hear me out. In the Daytona configuration, this engine is capable of 14,500 RPM, giving it a massively high rev limit. The induction sound alone is the stuff that dreams are made of, and the crisp, dulcet tones of the exhaust are incredibly unique as well. Honorable mention is MV Agusta's F3800, which sounds really similar, but the 675cc triple is a legendary engine, one of the best to be sure. But to be S tier, you need to bring your absolute best to the best. S tier. By owning one of these engines, you have achieved God status. These engines sound the best, rev the best, look the best, and are just so dang good, you can't really help but wonder what you did to be so lucky to own one. Let's see. Ducati's new V4 in the form of the V4R specifically, with its mind-boggling 230 plus horsepower and 16,000 RPM limit, is an S-tier engine sound. Biscotti boys the world over are rejoicing that I placed the Ducati in an S-tier category, but holy hell, they really outdid themselves. I'll be honest, the Panigale V4 wasn't hugely impressive to me in terms of the sound. The actual ride is unreal, but in terms of sound alone, it didn't do it for me. Now, the V4R is another beast altogether. It's 1000cc, it revs to 16,000 RPM, it's got pure MotoGP DNA, and it's also got that subtle dry clutch sound clattering away. Now, some folks think that this dry clutch sound detracts from the experience, but in my opinion, it adds so much more to the character of this engine. At full boil, you'll think you're on a replica race machine, and at low revs, it's undeniably exotic. It's the stuff that dreams are made of. Aprilia's RSV4 1100cc V4 is also an S-tier sound. Now look, plenty of you are going to accuse me of V4 bias, but ask literally any motorcycle journalist what the best engine sound is right now, and I bet you half of them are going to tell you it's this specific V4. It sounds incredible, better than the V4 in the Ducati in my opinion. It's almost literally a perfect engine note. Look up exhaust videos about them and thank me later. It revs high as hell, makes loads of power, and is just an auditory delight. Honda's CBX 6-cylinder mill is also an S tier. Here's where we're gonna make some exceptions. The CBX revs pretty high, but it's not nearly as high as these other bikes. It looks awesome, and I tell you what, I don't care that it doesn't make as much power as these other bikes as well. If you listen to one of these beasts and tell me you don't absolutely love it, you're full of shit. The CBX literally sounds like a classic F1 car, and that alone is going to place it very high for me. It's an S-tier motorcycle sound, and I definitely will own one of these bikes one day. Honda's V5 gets an honorable mention as a god-tier engine sound, but due to the fact that people couldn't actually purchase one of these engines, I can't count it. But man, it sounds cool as hell. Now that's going to do it for today, my dudes. What do you think? What bike sounds the best in your opinion? Am I wrong? Am I right? And to be honest, the bike that sounds the best is probably the one you own most of the time. So get out there, ring that thing to redline a few times, and give it the old Italian tune-up so you can clean out those carbon deposits. And you guys already know, this video wouldn't be complete without me mentioning our Patreon. It started out as our beginner bike giveaway, and we still do that. We've got the KTM RC390 up for grabs, but really it's grown to be one of the best communities for motorcyclists on the internet. Imagine a safe place you can come learn about bikes, ask questions, see exclusive content, and hang out with me. That's what our Discord server is, the chat room you can access on desktop or mobile, and it works just like Slack or TeamSpeak. Join over 650 members who have signed up. We've got channels specifically for new riders, bike purchases, memes, and more. Oh yeah, you get additional chances to win the bike and you're automatically entered for free. You'll get access to live streams, polls to help us decide to do with the bikes, and more. We also do weekly $100 gift card drawings for our members. Watch our weekly It Came From Craigslist videos to see how that works. So join us in creating the best exclusive motorcycle community on the internet. Hit the link below or go to patreon.com/YammieNoob to get started. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.